Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
and thank you for taking the time to speak with me today. My name is Lisa, and I'm 22 years old and a student of commercial economics. As a part of my studies, I am developing myself in the role of an account manager with the focus on B2B sales. For
Mhm.
this sales project, we are working on an assignment for the Moco Museum in Amsterdam, and the goal is to explore ways to attract more visitors, especially by collaborating with schools.
Mhm.
Would it be all right by you if I record our conversation so I can review it later?
Of course.
Amazing. The purpose of this conversation is to gain insights into how cultural field trips are currently organized within your school and
Mhm.
what factors are important when making these decisions.
Mhm.
To better understand this, I would like to start by asking some questions.
Of course. Go ahead.
How does your school currently organize cultural field trips for the students?
Well, it's usually the teacher that organizes the entire trip for the students, and we try to make it relate to the unit we're currently working with. So in the IB system, we have units for each subject. And for example, I had a digital selfies unit right now, recently with MYP3, where they have to, on Procreate, draw their own face, a section of their face. So they need to learn how to use a digital tool. And so this was, I mean, not really a very cultural field trip, but the Apple Store has these lovely sessions that are for free.
Yeah.
So I organized for my students to go to the Apple Store in Harlem and learn how to use Procreate and how to do portraiture on an iPad. So
Ah,
that's like
okay.
the field trip. But if we want to,
Yeah.
for example, go to the Van Gogh Museum, then I would obviously contact the museum and ask them if we could come. It has to fall within a unit that we're doing and make sense with what we're doing in art or design.
Yeah.
So
So it
I
needs
think
to
for
connect.
it needs to connect, otherwise there's no point. So we did, I know the MYP2s do like spring, like 12-year-olds do springers in the air. And for springers in the air, they go outside when it's good weather. So it's during this time and they start painting landscapes. And then
Yeah.
obviously who painted landscapes, the Impressionists, and then who was influenced later by the Impressionists, post-Impressionists like Van Gogh. And so then we go to the Van Gogh Museum and we learn a little bit about post-Impressionism, and then that ties in to the investigations they need to do before they make their final artwork.
Okay. Interesting. Never
Yes.
knew this.
Yeah. So we try
Yeah.
to connect them to the units, like I said, like going to the Apple
Yeah.
Store for digital selfies or this. And then really depends on the unit. Same goes for like history or any other subject that they're doing at the time. But there's a whole procedure because after you make a booking with the place, it takes a
Yeah.
really long time for a school to make planning because you have to get the go ahead from finance, because finance has to then pay for that
Trip.
exhibition or
Yeah.
tour for that trip. Unlike the Apple Store, which was free, the Van Gogh Museum costs and the school pays for that. So then you
Yeah.
have to contact like the head of the school that contacts twice, and then that has to be organized. Then we need to find out how we're going to get there. So usually we're either going to get a coach, which is like a bus that comes and takes us, and then we have to
Yeah.
pay for that. Or we take the bus and then the train, and then everyone needs an OV chip card and we need to pay for that. So everyone,
A lot
and
of organization.
a lot. It takes sometimes months because you also can't do it when there's tests being done by other teachers on that day.
Yeah.
So if there's a test happening for maths, you can't take them out for art. So you need to check the year planner. Then the timetabler needs to make sure to timetable you. So all the lessons you're missing, that there's enough cover teachers for those lessons. So it becomes a
Okay.
very
Yeah.
huge organization that many teachers opt out of actually planning a
Very
trip because it's
complicated.
very complicated. But I mean, I set at least 3 trips a year, depending for different year groups. So this year we went to Iris van Harpen for design. That was
Yeah.
really beautiful for the older students, the 16-year-olds, because they design, some of them would design something new and interesting, and it's a nice amalgamation of art and design.
Yeah.
So we went to Rotterdam, all the way to Rotterdam to see that exhibition in the Kunsthal. And then, I don't know if I'm pronouncing any of these Dutch words correctly. Um,
Doesn't matter. All good.
yeah. But there's been like a few trips that I've organized. Obviously, for art and design, we try to go to as many trips as possible.
Yeah. And then when you are going to a museum, how
Mhm.
does the visit look like? And like how are the students reacting on this? Like you
They
guys do a
love it.
tour, or
Tour.
you do it
We
yourself a little bit,
we
or
usually do a tour. We usually
okay.
do it. Yes. So with Iris van Harpen, there was someone there that walked around and explained, and that makes it so much more interesting because they really learn something new about a designer or an artist.
Yeah.
At the Apple Store, it was a session of training where they actually trained them how to do something. The Van Gogh Museum, we usually just go on our own and just walk around and like
Yeah.
look. So it depends on the
It
level,
depends on the situation
on the
more. Yeah.
situation. Yeah. Yeah.
And then which museums you already visited during the last years?
So in the last 3 years that I've worked at the school, I've gone to the Fur Linden Museum.
Yeah.
1 year, I've gone, this is just me. Maybe
Yeah.
other teachers have
Yeah.
gone.
No, for
I've
you.
gone to
Yeah.
Van Gogh twice. I know that another teacher wants to take them to the Straat Museum uh, soon, like in the next week, and they want me to go with them for their like graffiti unit that they
Oh,
do
nice. Yeah.
with like Banksy balloons and bananas, which might work in the Mako Museum because there might be
Yeah.
something that relates there as well with that unit where we look at like edgy kind of like graffiti style art. We've taken them obviously. Where have we? I think France Halls, they took them in many years before, but haven't taken them there. It
No.
didn't really work with the units we were currently doing.
No. Yeah.
Um, I think I've in a way mentioned all the places we've been now.
Yeah. Yeah. You did, I think. Yeah.
I think
To
Stedelijk, they
Rotterdam,
took them at
everything.
one point. I haven't. I think those are the main ones that I can remember right now. This year, I know we went to the Kunsthal for Iris van Harpen, Apple Store, and I've just forgotten. And
Yeah,
one
you
more
named
place,
three, right?
I think I named 3 for this year. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I've forgotten one.
And then when you are there, do you notice that the students are really engaging, or like with the visit, like they are very interested, or they're more like,
Students love going outside of school because then
yeah,
they don't
okay,
have to
yeah.
do assessments. So they love field trips and they usually seem quite engaged and interested. Um, yeah, I think they've enjoyed the field trips we've been on. I think they've engaged a lot. I think the Van Gogh, they because there was no tour guide to take them, they enjoyed it, but I think they enjoyed even more like when they did the training with the Apple Store and they learned how to like do a
Yeah,
portrait on
like
them.
more supervised, like
More, a little bit more
taking them
supervised
through
and
the
interactive.
story.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
so you
think it's
would
more
say
interesting.
that when there is somebody explaining, they're like more engaged than when they walk around themselves.
I think so, yeah, because they actually learn something new instead of just looking aimlessly and not being sure.
Yeah, like not
Yeah.
reading the small parts next to the
Mhm.
paintings, like just
Yeah.
looking at it. Yeah.
But I also think half is good. It's also good to let them be a bit free. So when we went to Iris van Harpen, like there was a tour guide, but if they didn't feel like walking with her and listening, because they were older students, 16-year-olds, they could
Yeah.
walk around on their own as well and do
Ah,
their own
okay.
thing. And then some students that really wanted to listen. So I like it when it's a little bit more open. For older
Yeah,
kids,
like they
for
can
younger
decide
kids, they need more
themselves.
structure. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. And then what role is important, like with the practical factors like budget planning and supervising when planning this? Because I can imagine it's, yeah.
It just takes time. Usually, we do have like a certain budget per department. I don't know what the exact budget is because I'm not the head of art. There's another
Yeah.
teacher that's the head of art, but I've never been told no. So every school trip I've organized since I've been there for 3 years, every time I've said, can I go to Fort Linden? Can I go to Kunsthal? Can I go, wherever I've asked to go, they said, yes, absolutely. We'll make a plan. So I think
Okay.
our school is really accommodating to enrich the students' experience, and they really try. Obviously, if we've blown the budget, at some
Yeah.
point we have to stop because we have no more
Yeah,
money
of
left.
course.
Yeah.
But if you then
Yeah.
already did 4 or 3 field trips, it's at least you have many times to do the field trips. That's really
Yes,
nice.
yes, yes. And we haven't actually, I don't think I've ever been to the Mako Museum because I know you were going to ask me
Really
that.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't even been myself, actually, which is terrible as an art teacher. So I know, Judge. So
Horrible.
maybe it's a place I should
Yeah.
actually take students for one of the units. Yeah.
Yeah, would be especially when you told me about the street
The
art.
street art.
Yeah,
Mm.
because there they also have like a lot of Banksy and
Yes, I've seen that on
Nazi.
the site, and I was thinking that might be a nice idea. I
Yeah,
think it's just at the Straat Museum, they actually do like a whole project where they do graffiti then as a practical.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's quite nice. You see, I
yeah.
haven't been
That would
there,
be
but I've
better.
heard from
Yeah,
other art teachers that interactive quality really boosts a museum. So if you
yeah,
have something to look at, and then they also have an interactive element where they get to be artists, definitely a school will be interested in something like that.
yeah. I think that would be a good one for them as well. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And then, what impact does it have on the student motivation when it's like they are not feeling, or when it not connects with their interests? Do you think that really affects their motivation in the moment if they are there?
I mean, not all students are always interested in art, but I think the novelty of going somewhere and experiencing something different is always going to be more exciting than sitting in a classroom.
Yeah.
And I think it also depends on the presenter. Sometimes, I mean, I've been somewhere where someone presenting an artwork could be not very exciting to listen to, and then you can see that they will get distracted. But if someone is charismatic and interesting and they make the experience fun, the students are most of the time going to enjoy the experience.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Mm.
So it depends a little bit on what the tour guide is doing and the way he is doing it.
I
Like
think
if
so.
he's just dumb telling, then they will get distracted, and if they are more excited telling, they will
Mhm.
like focus.
Yes, I think so.
And then how can, sorry, um, and you said that you guys always, as the teachers themselves, you decide on your own where to go, right?
Yes, we do.
Is there then any units that you really thought it was successful to go to a certain museum and that you like repeat it for every year? Or you try to find something new when the experience was not as good as you expected?
For some museums, we do similar things. So, like, it just really makes sense to do the Van Gogh Museum when you do Spring is in the Air. So that is like a repeat.
Yeah.
It's been repeated for a few. I mean, I haven't taught the MYP2s for 2 years now, so I did it in my first year. But other teachers have been going back to the same museum. Whereas, like with the older students, we like to change it up all the time. So for Linden was like 2 years ago, I took them there, and then Kunsthal was this year. And so that is changed. The Apple Store is every year for the last 2 years because it really works
Mm.
with the unit.
Yeah. Especially
Um,
because it's like with iPads and like newer
yeah,
than
that is literally
like more
exactly what they
modern,
need.
modern. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So some places we repeat because it really fits with the unit and works well and they enjoy it. And some we've stopped. I think I've never been to the France Hall, so they stopped doing that. So I'm not sure why. I don't know if it didn't relate to the unit or if it was boring for the students. I'm not saying it was.
No,
I
but
just
like,
I just
yeah.
don't know because I wasn't that happened before 3 years ago, and I started teaching at the school 3 years ago. So I know I don't remember them going to the France Halls again.
Yeah.
Um, the
But for
Straat
sure there
Museum, I
were
know
some
it's not the
reasons.
first time they went before.
Yeah.
I just never went. Um,
But yeah, would be some reasons then, I think.
hmm.
With, yeah. And do you think it would also increase the students' interest when you go, like, for example, to the Van Gogh with the spring theme?
Mhm.
Would it be like, does it make them more interested in the whole subject during the theme, or you think that they just like it for that moment and then in the classes they are back to the, I don't know, like the assignments, like for example?
That's
You
hard
think
to
it
tell.
motivates them better than it would be without it? Or
I think it does make a difference because sometimes when you see something in real life, it's so even though you can see all of these artworks on the internet, there's a different experience that happens when you see an artwork in real life, a different feeling. And I think students feel that too. So before they might have been like, oh, it's just Van Gogh. And then when they go, they're like, oh, wow, these are really beautiful pieces. You know, for some students, it makes a stronger connection to the unit and to the experience of art. I
Yeah,
mean,
so
I know
there would,
personally, uh, like I always used to think like Mark Rothko was really boring because it's just flat panels
yeah,
of color. And I studied art. But then when I went to London to visit a friend, I went to the Tate Museum and I saw them in real life. And the magnitude of the artwork and the way you feel encompassed by it when you walk into a room definitely
yeah,
makes a difference. So I think for students as well, when they see it in real life, it really does make a little bit of a difference. They
like
have a
more
more of a
impact
it's more
to,
impact because
yeah,
they're so used to screens. When they see something that's not a screen, I think it's so novel to them, especially now in the 21st
yeah,
century where everyone is just looking at a flat screen.
the whole day, like us now.
It's like you and I right
Yeah,
now. So for them to go out and see real life and see like texture on a canvas and
yeah,
see something different is exciting. But also it can bore them at times because they are so overly stimulated by screens. And I think that's why you have all these interactive museums now where you can like go to a Frida Kahlo experience and
yeah,
you have like a very interactive digit like
to keep them also
AI.
like focused to the thing and more into the theme. Yeah,
Mm. Which is not wrong. I really enjoyed those interactive experiences that I've seen as well, like moving arts.
yeah,
That's really, I love moving art. It's beautiful. It's really exciting to see. It's a different experience. But I think both are important.
yeah. So it's like the best of both worlds. Let's say
Mm.
it like that.
Yeah, I don't think it's just black and white. It really depends on the
No, yeah,
student and the
like needs
experience.
to be combined, and then
Mm.
you still get the theme and the interaction in a good way together.
Exactly. So if there is a gallery that has both the real and maybe an experience, if you have two in one, then you're doing quite well as a museum.
And then as a school, you also filter a little bit on these kind of things. Maybe then with the Van Gogh, it's more like you take the tour because it's maybe a little bit more old tradition kind of museum. But with the other ones, you look also for the interactive parts when you choose a museum.
Depends. Really depends on what we're looking for at the time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Listen, for the Van Gogh, I don't think we actually have a tour guide. I think we just let them roam free in
yeah,
that one. Because we actually teach it in class. So they do
yeah.
have,
Okay, so you
we do
don't
like
have to have
so they do have a little
double.
bit of an idea. But if it's someone brand new or something really new that they haven't learned yet, then it's nice to have a tour guide. Yeah.
Okay,
But
and then
maybe having someone for Van Gogh would be even better, like a tour guide that makes it more interesting. Yeah.
yeah, but then maybe it would be too much double information maybe for the
Maybe,
students. Yeah.
maybe.
And then how helpful would it be if a museum also like supported the teachers with educational preparation of the visits or like maybe some small works to let them do?
That's a great idea. Absolutely. As I said, if you make it interactive, it makes it better. So
And
if
then
they see
also
the
lighter
exhibition,
for you guys, I think, as the teacher
yes, as
being,
well.
yeah,
If you do like a little sketch or a practice with them, and then they can take it back to school and becomes part of their process of developing their artwork, that would be really helpful. Because then it's not
yeah,
just a field trip, it's also part of their unit,
education, yeah.
their education. Yeah.
Well, amazing. I think based on what you shared about the students and their engagement and the search for like inspiring activities combined with the cultural part, I
Hmm.
think it could be interesting to explore how the Mocha Museum might fit with your school's cultural and educational goals.
Hmm.
Do you think it would be valuable to look together at what opportunities might be possible for your school another time?
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea. Maybe for the Banksy Balloons and Bananas unit, instead of the
Yeah,
Straat Museum next year, we could go to the Mocha Museum because we are going
amazing.
to the Straat
Yeah,
Museum like literally
yeah.
next week. So maybe next year during a similar time, we could go to the Mocha Museum. If you also have something that's interactive and helpful for our unit, I think that would be great. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, amazing. Then we will schedule another time and day.
Yes. I like that. Yes.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.